Happy Friday, everybody, and you're on Paranormal Question of the Day. Coming up right after the intro. And now I'm back. So, today's Paranormal Question of the Day is we're going to be talking about portals again. This is something that I was alluding to get back to last week at some point. I think it was last week, Wednesday, we were talking about portals. And so today I would like to extend that talk about portals. And here's the paranormal question of the day. So if we have too many portals in one location, and they cross, like so to speak, in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. Okay. Now, if portals do cross each other, and it might be a good portal, it might be a bad portal. Are you, the investigator, at risk, and is it a danger for everybody else? So that is the question there. And we'll see who just popped in. Oh, hey, Paula, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a good Friday. So basically, what we're talking about today is last week, Wednesday, I touched upon portals and how many portals can be in one location and what good can come from it. So, and now the continuation about portals this Friday, today, we are. Thank you. And today it's a continuation as to, okay, now we got multiple portals or vortexes, whatever you want to call them. There are different terms for each one. Now, like in Ghostbusters, like when they're got their proton packs pulled out and they're going after the spirit, and they say don't cross the streams, right? So what happens if a portal crosses path with another portal? And what dangers can come out of it? Are you, the investigator, at risk for something that we're not ready for? Or is there what they call the suction part of it, where it might pull you in type deal? Hey, Lori, how you doing? So that's kind of what I was thinking, is like, what can come out of this? Is there anything good that can come out of this? I mean, is it two portals with a good bag of spirits that come walking through, or is it a mixture of spirits that interact and cause havoc to the location? So, and that's pretty much what we're talking about today. And I'd like to hear your feedback. And like I said, thank you for joining in the show today. And then also at the back end of this show, I'll be discussing about next week and what's going on for next week. So I'm not gonna do a special announcement for on Saturday or anything like that. We'll just kind of get it all out of this show today. So how's it going today, Lori, at the museum? Any new shakeups? See, that's what I'm thinking too. I think it would cause havoc. I think that if you cross a good spirit with a bad spirit, I don't see anything good that could come out of it. I think that it will havoc the investigation. I think it would change the tide so many different ways that I think you as an investigator would be kind of lost as to, okay, we started here. Now we have this spirit that has come through this portal. Now which direction do we got to go? Do we have to treat this whole location in a whole new format? So, yeah, a territory fight. Right, exactly. And how often does that happen? Now when you get to a place like let's see, Missouri State Penitentiary, okay, with a location so big like that, I think you can host multiple portals or vortexes, however you want to call them, and I don't think it would cause too much of an issue because the place is so huge and so spread out. I think they have more room to breathe. And with that, I think the danger of that there, I think, is very low. Because they can mix it up with all the current spirits that are there, and I think they can blend in pretty well. But now when you get to a place, let's say Sally's house, okay? Sally's house is a pretty small location. Thank you. And now Sally's house is such a small location, and now you're going to get multiple vortexes or portals in this location. I think with the square footage and the spirits that are already there, I think this is where the problem will come into play with Havoc of other spirits coming through the portal and intermixing with them. And I don't think they can coexist because of such a small location and the history of location, even though we brought in the Missouri State Penitentiary with all the history there. I think with the spirits there that were in that penitentiary, the guards, the Warren, you know what I'm trying to say, the ones that run the penitentiary, and then you got the prisoners. I think they can interact well with each other. But with Sally's house, now you got, so to speak, a child's presence there. You got a doctor's presence there that performed the surgery on a little girl said to be in the kitchen. And then you bring in these portals that bring different spirits into the location. I just don't think it's such a good mix. And there's a lot of people that go to that location and have a lot of problems, say, hey, I'm never going to go back there again because so many things have gone wrong for me there. And it could be something totally different for somebody else and not have an issue. So, and that's where I think that would come into play. Just depending on what day it happens. Because you just don't know when they'll occur. You know what I mean? Sorry, got a little long-winded there, but I had to get that all out before it escapes my mind. I can't remember. Not to mention dropped some soda on my own shirt. Anyway, Lori, what do you think? What do you think about the portals and vortexes? Do you feel that there's some there at the museum? Now, Paula, I think you're out at around Gettysburg, aren't you? If I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. Can't remember where everybody's location is. Okay, you're in Delaware. All right. I wasn't quite sure if you were by Gettysburg and all that stuff because I remember you talking to some people about Gettysburg and whatnot. Anyways, so with Gettysburg, now that we got that out, okay, so you think the open one. All right. Well, we'll have to get into that in a little bit here. So 2 hours from Gettysburg. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Um, Now is how okay. I brought up Missouri State Penitentiary. We talked how big that location is, and then I talked about Sally's house because it's such a small location. Now we have Gettysburg. With Gettysburg being so wide open and such a huge space in the paranormal field to start with, and with the war being there, do you think that even if a portal even shows up in Gettysburg, would it even make a difference? I mean, with that field being as big as it is, how how tall or how big the town is. The town is supposed to be haunted as well. So, right, it is very active there. That is very true. You can't go up those stairs now. Okay. Well, we'll definitely have to. We'll have to talk a little more about that before I get there on Tuesday. Um, but like I said, if the portals so happen to show up in Gettysburg, like out in the field where the soldiers are, and then you got the town that is so active as well. If a portal shows up, would it even make a difference because of how many spirits are already at that at that location? Would it even matter? Because I know the history is huge with Gettysburg, but I don't know if that would even matter anymore. Just because it's so massive, it could go either direction. They have all that room to play with, play with. So where Missouri State Pen is closed off, but it's got 4 different buildings. So those are kind of like the 3 different types I can give you: outside, closed off, inside huge, and then closed off really small. See, I don't think it would either. Just because how big the location is. And practically, um, with a lot of buildings being haunted as it is, I don't think it'd make a difference. Hey, Leslie, how you doing? So, how do you know? Okay, so now you're saying that a portal opened up above you. How do you know that it formed? Is there like does the air change? Does it like you're out on a bridge like you're saying here? Does the air change? Is there like a pulling mechanism where it wants to pull you into this portal type deal, or does something shows itself? That's just one of those things. People like in Sally's house, they'll say, "Okay, there's a portal in the closet," but how do you know? Is it spider webs? You get that feeling that something's touching you. It feels like spider webs. You walk into a spider web type deal. Um, how do you know? What's the effects from it? You know what I mean? This can be, portals are a tricky thing. Not everybody believes in portals, and there are a few that are out there. And, like myself, I think there are. It's just a matter of how to point them out, you know. Okay. So that's different. I mean, now for someone like me, I can't really see spirits. So I'd have to really figure that out as to how that would affect me in a way. So maybe with the air aspect of it, would make the change for me. We did get activity. Okay, Census Bridge. All right. Okay, you have pictures. Okay. Um, and feel free to, if you want to post them in chat, the pictures. That'd be great. I mean, for those of you want to see those pictures. Georgia at the Square. Okay, I'm not quite familiar with Georgia at the Square. You want to explain a little bit about Georgia at the Square for people that do not know what that is? I'll be very intrigued as to what I can get out of the museum on Tuesday night when I go investigate there. Um, I definitely, hopefully, if I walk into a portal, that'd be great, just to see what would happen. And I'll be live during that investigation. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Today's show, we're talking a continuation on about portals. And if we have too many portals in one location, and if they cross paths with each other, like Ghostbusters, like they say don't cross the streams, right? Uh, is there a problem? Does the investor become at risk for good spirits meeting up with bad spirits and wreaking havoc in the location, or good spirits on both, but intermingling with the spirits that are currently at the location? Can they get along with each other? So, and I brought up several different locations on size wise. Like you got the Sally's house. I don't know if you're familiar with Sally's house. It's a small little house. Okay, which is said to have multiple vortexes or portals, however you want to call them, there. And then you have, like I brought up, Missouri State Penitentiary, which is huge, but it's closed off. So you only got a certain amount of space to work with. But it's big enough where I don't think, even if you get multiple portals, I always want to say vortexes as well. I watch too many tornado videos. uh, I don't think it would be a big deal because it's such a how big of the space it is and the kind of activity that's already there. I think the spirits can mingle with them well enough to understand what's going on. And then I also brought up Gettysburg and how big Gettysburg is, and Paul and I were saying that we don't think that a portal would make any difference at Gettysburg because how big and wide open it is. So Savannah, Georgia. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. It's the center of the city, and they call it the Hanging Square. Okay, and that makes sense because I heard a lot. Sorry, I heard a lot about Savannah, Georgia, and how haunted that location is. There's a couple friends of mine that used to do ghost tours down there. I don't know if they do them anymore. I heard crime is kind of an issue out there at Savannah, Georgia, but I did hear a lot of stuff. I mean, houses that are over 100 years old and stuff like that. So, and I think the Hanging Center Square. I think now did they perform like public hangings out there? Is that why it's called the hanging out? What's it called again? The Hanging Square. Because then back in the day, I could see that happening. Let's wait for a response here. Okay, so you feel okay. So you're thinking that having portals there would make a difference. Okay, and I can see that point too. I mean, with Savannah and its history and its hauntings, and I would think that portals would be more of an issue there, just because of it's somewhat of a big area, but not that big of an area like Gettysburg. But I think enough where a portal might make a difference and affect the location a little bit more. I do agree with that. If I'm understanding correctly, I mean, I could be hitting that totally wrong. uh, how many portals do you think is in the museum, Lori? Do you think there's just one at the present time, or do you think there's more than one? And how do you know that Colin opened one up? Did he do something that you think that he caused one to be opened? If I said that person's name correctly. These are just one of these things I think are fascinating. Portals are not talked a lot about. I think when you go on an investigation, people don't talk about them as much. I think they're more into at the moment, what's going on at the present moment time. Yes, they look forward to what they're going to do next on the investigation, but it's I never really hear too much of let's go in this room. Let's see if there's a portal that's opened up in this room or in this spot. Let's just kind of go walk around, see if we can find something, see if we can find a portal that we feel is opened. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's kind of closed off a lot in investigations. Anybody going away for a week for your 4th of July shutdown? If you have a shutdown to your business or factory? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's I just don't hear it. I don't hear enough of it. I hear, okay, let's go try, um, uh, this piece of gear or, sorry, um, I hear about this piece of gear. Let's try this experiment, but never I hear is let's go see if we can walk. Let's just go walk around and see if we can find a portal, and and interact with it. Staying home for the weekend. Yeah, I am for now, except for Tuesday. I'll announce that in a little bit when we're done talking about the portals, because I will bring up what's going on for the week. Y'all might be a little sad, but but it's gonna be an interesting week, to say the least. Okay, you don't believe portals are very common? Okay. All right. So now what you're saying that you don't believe that they're very common and every once in a while, and I could see that point. I really do. That does. I mean, it's a small spot in the house or wherever you're at. It makes sense. I mean, who knows how big do portals get? Do they? Is there a certain size to them, or are they a huge space that does it allow multiple at the same time, or is it small enough where it's just one at a time? That's just something that we don't know. And how often does it stay open? Is it like 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Does it stay open? Then it just closes on its own, type deal. Okay, so Leslie says they're big. So with you saying it's big, now do multiple come at one time? Like I'm saying, like big enough where like five would come out at one time, or is it big like 20, 25 would come out at one time? Because I'm feeling if they're in a closet, like what Paul is saying, I think they'd be only big enough for like one would come through. Okay, so you say dozens come through. Okay, see that I find that very interesting. So okay, so when that one opened above you on that bridge, okay, how long did that last? Was it like I said, was it 10 minutes, 15 minutes before it shut itself off or closed up? Or does it just stay open for however long on how many people want to come spirits want to come through there? Has one got trapped as it was closing up? I mean, okay, so they're about 3 minutes. Okay, so it's not that long. Quite honestly, that's a good amount of time. I think that depending on how fast they fly out of there. I mean, it's like, when the school opens up the last day and all these kids can come flooding out, you know, um, you kind of wonder if the spirits are the same way. Like, get me out of this realm. Let's go into this realm. I can see that. I can have it in my mind. Just like how. Okay, so another example is Ghostbusters, and how a portal was opened up and all these things are fleeing out and roaming through the skies of New York City. Okay, um, I wonder if it's like that. That they just gush out of there. Well, with the closet, I would say it's just one at a time. I think, because I think they would step out and say, "Do I really want to be in this location? Is this big enough for me to be here, or should I go somewhere else that I have more room to roam?" You know, or they get a sense of what spirit's here and they turn around and want to go back, and then they get stuck. You know what I mean? It closes up, like I said, in 3 minutes. It closes up, and there's no place for them to escape unless another time in that day where it causes another one to open up where they can flee back into. You know, and it also brings up a friend of mine, Thomas Hunsaker. Okay, he's got mirrors in several locations. All right, and for those of you who scry mirrors and stuff like that, and to see spirits in there, which I have not done, probably won't. That's just something that I'm not really into. But can a black mirror, sorry, can a black mirror create the portals in several different locations and so many miles apart? Okay, if it's the same exact mirror that he has in each location, for the experiment that he's trying out, would that cause the portal be so enormous that it would make the spirits from that location travel to the next location where he has a mirror set up? Would it be that easy? Okay. Well, I mean, if like down in the comments down below, if you can post your pictures in the comments, I think they would post on here. You know, um, for me to broadcast to my, I don't know if I have the ability to do that right now. I mean, I can share my screen, but I'm still learning some of that stuff yet. But yeah, if you just like want to copy and paste your pictures into the comments, you can do that and try that. Well, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, other than that, where was I going with here? I kind of lost track. Um, yeah, just when you get a chance, you don't have to do it while I'm talking here. Whenever you get a chance, just post the pics. I think people will be intrigued as to um, what you point out in the pictures. So, but yeah, as far as that, I mean, with portals, I mean, that's like I said, that's just stuff I wonder about. I haven't really experienced any like portal type deals that happen in front of me. I've been to Melver Manor, and that's I haven't really felt any portals in that location, which I'm sure there are. It's a crazy location, so if you are anywhere close to Melver Manor, definitely go check that place out. It's a really cool place, and you'll get hooked. If it be your first investigation, it will get you hooked. But there's other places like Sheboygan Asylum. I've been there. Place is massive, just about as big as Waverly Hills. Again, huge location. Now, if a portal shows up there, I don't know if it'll make a difference or not. Hey, Carmen, how you doing? No worries, no worries. You're not late. We're just still talking about portals and how often do they show up, how big they get, how long do they last. Would it make a big difference? Like, let's say, I believe in Sally's house, it would make a difference. And multiple portals, if it's good or not. If they cross paths, what would happen? Would that put you as an investigator in danger or risk with spirits interacting with bad spirits? You know what I mean? Mixing oil and water doesn't work. Happy early 4th to you as well. You know, so, and like I said, with Sally's house being so small, I think it would create havoc in the location. I brought up Missouri State Penitentiary, enclosed, huge location, but big enough, I think, at a portal that enters that area, I think can mingle well with other spirits and not feel crowded. They can move around. And then I also brought up like Gettysburg, how big Gettysburg is, a wide open space, the field, the city. That I think a portal being open up there wouldn't matter as much. I don't think it would create issues because it's such a huge location. It wouldn't never get noticed probably. So, but that's kind of what we're talking about. And Leslie was saying that portals stay open to about 3 minutes. They're huge. Dozens of spirits come out of there, and you know, and what Paula was saying that portals would open up in closets. To me, I don't think it's big enough for dozens of spirits to come out. I think it's big enough for like one or two at a time to come out. That type of deal with you know spirits in that location. If they don't feel comfortable enough to be there, do they have a way to escape to go somewhere else? And that's just, like I said, that's just what I wonder about these things. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just like I want to hear your views and how you feel about this subject. And this will conclude what we're talking about portals. I brought it up last week, and this is just a continuation on today. So here's an interesting thought for you. What if you go to a big church or a small church and a portal opens up in the church? What do you think would come out of that? Do you think angels and all that would start coming out of the portals, and just kind of because it's and the reason why I bring up a church is when people go into church sometimes, sometimes like you're tired and you don't really want to go, but then you go to church, and then towards the end, people kind of change. You know, they're a little bit more happier. They're more wanting to talk more. Maybe the tiredness has gone away, but maybe a portal opened. During the sermon or whatever that's going on, and all these angels started coming out of there. Does that change people? Because when the church service is over, I see a lot of people their moods are completely different as they when they came in as we're leaving. I've noticed that a lot. When I would go from time to time. So that's another interesting thought to put out there. How much of a change does it do for you? You know what I mean? I know this is kind of an interesting twist, but it just popped in my head. So that's just one of those things with me. Things will just pop out of my head, and I gotta say it before I forget about it. So, and I know some people probably wouldn't agree with that, and I never bring in church with my podcast or anything like that. So don't worry about that. But that's just one of those things I was interested at what you thought of that. And that's what I mean. You just you just wonder about things like that. Exactly. Where my daughter's going to college, they got a church that has come overseas, torn apart, put back together in one location, and then the college person bought that church. Okay, tore apart again, and then brought it back, brought it into the university's location. Now it's kind of like the center part of the courtyard at this university, and this church is like 16 from the 1600s. Okay, so you just kind of wonder. You're right. How does it? And I'm not sure if this place is haunted or not. I mean, it's I believe it came from Italy. The church did. I could be wrong, but I know it's across seas. So, but yeah, okay. If it tears apart, comes across the United States, how much of that spirit, if in fact it would be haunted, does it lose its any energy? You know what I mean? Even though everything being intact with it, stuff like that. That's what I mean. It's just how do you know? Right, right. I mean, how would they interact? How would they mingle with that other spirit? I mean, could it, like I said, would it create havoc? Would it create problems? Would they, is there a way of to escape? Exactly, exactly. That's the thing. Portals are unpredictable. You have no idea if they can, when they come out, if they can go back to exactly where they came from. If things don't, so to speak, work out, like they're renting the space. You know what I mean? They're renting the space, but don't like it and want to go back. So, renting spirits. Isn't that funny? Or spirits renting the location. But it's very interesting, very enticing. I don't know. I did step foot in that church. Didn't feel nothing, but from being from the 1600s, you never know. You never know what comes with it. I don't know. And that's the thing. How do they decide? Where do they decide? Is it decided for them? You know, do they gravitate to whatever I guess is open? Is it like a? Is it like The Price is Right? You got these 10 doors to choose from. Which one are you going to go to? Which one are you going to pick? And that's exactly what this is. This question was, what door do you pick? You know what I mean? It's kind of at their mercy of where they pick and where they go. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? So this is the topic. If there's too many portals in one location, if they cross paths, are you, the investigator, at risk with danger of it creating havoc in the location? And like how Ghostbusters say, don't cross the streams. Does that work the same way with portals? And stuff like that. And I brought up a few locations where I think portals would be too much, like Sally's house, because I think Sally's house is too small to have multiple vortexes or portals, however you want to put it. And then you got, I brought up like Missouri State Penitentiary, how big that penitentiary is, but it's still closed off. And would a portal make a difference in that location? Now, the other thing I brought up was Gettysburg and how big the field is of Gettysburg and the town all correlate with each other. Would a portal even matter? Would it, like, even if it opens up, would it be noticeable? Would it make a difference? You know what I'm saying? So, that's what we're talking about today. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Sorry.
Yep, I can hear you.
I'm totally crashing your live since I haven't been live with you in a couple of weeks.
That's all right. That's
Yeah, I'm crashing for like 2 seconds. I wanted to say hi to everybody. What's the question of the day?
Today's question is, we're talking about portals, and if there's a problem if you get too many in one area and they cross, like, so to speak, cross the streams with each other, cross paths, would it create a havoc in the location?
Oh, thank God, because I don't know anything about this. So it's a good thing that I'm working today.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if you're working or not, so I just threw out the link in case if you're wanting to pop on.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did because I miss you.
Well, you've been busy. You've been having a lot of fun lately, too.
Trying in between everything,
Right.
But there's only... Oh, somebody was answering your question.
Yep, that was Cynthia.
Well, I miss y'all. Love you, Darren.
Love you too. Miss you.
And until the following Monday night, I bid you adieu.
All right. I bid you do. Have fun at
You
work.
really look a lot like Beyonce.
Yeah, right, right. I like, why not? Just throw it out there, right? Maybe the smile is the same. I don't know.
All right. I'll holler at you later.
Sounds good. All right.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Now, how the fuck do I leave? Let me say.
I can let you out. There you go. Oh. Lori, yeah. And to get back to your answer here, so you're saying, okay, there's one portal in Sally's house. Okay, that's because you've been there, so you know more. And then, I'm sure there's a few portals at Missouri State Penn. Yep, and you've been there, so. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things that I just, me, I wonder. I don't know if they cross paths. Now Leslie, early on in the podcast, was saying how long they stay open, and they say stay open for 3 minutes, okay, and then she was saying how big they are, that dozens would come through, okay. Now, is that the same? Like I said, you said about Sally's house having one portal, and that's how I feel about Sally's house can only have one portal because how small it is. How many can come through there, and is it one or two at a time? And if the closet, so to speak, and then there's one in the bedroom, if they would interact with each other, how much of a problem that would be. So, and that's, I think that's an open-end question, because until something like happens and somebody experiences something like that, I guess there's no way to really tell what would happen. Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you know it's like Leslie is saying one open above her, okay? And how would you know that one is even open? For someone like me that's still new to the field, okay, yeah, actively for the last, since 2017 going to investigations, but still portals is a newer type deal for me because I feel that I haven't experienced anything with it, and how would I know if I'm even experienced with one in the first place if it's right in front of my face? You know what I mean? With her, Leslie was saying that air was rushing down at her, and she can hear and see spirits that would flood out of there all over the place. So that's just and early on I posted. Now this was just a quick thought because it popped in my head. Let's say, okay, before we go into that, okay, so the energy level is through the roof, she's saying. Now I brought up churches before. Now, people go into church, start a service, and what if a portal opens up during the service, like during a sermon or something like that, or whatever, someone's singing, and do angels come out of there? And like sometimes when you go and start going to church, you find people that are ornery and crabby and tired, don't want to be there, which in some cases would be me. But anyway, but then you turn around and you leave, and people's attitudes are way different. Now, did something open up and change people's feelings being at that church or wherever they may be? And it's just, they go about their way in a whole different kind of way. Yeah, see, Leslie's saying they stay open for 3 minutes. But in that case, like I said, brought up before, a spirit comes through, goes to the location, so to speak, rent the location, but don't like being there and want to leave. Now they have no way to go. If that portal closes in 3 minutes, they have no way to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. No worries. You're back. Okay, now it's just been there and open. Okay, makes sense to me. Full moon effects. Yeah. Well, and that could be. I mean, what does a full moon do to a portal? Does it enhance it more? Does it make the portal more powerful? You know, open longer, bigger. That's just one of those things you just don't know. And full moon does affect certain locations, as is. And Cynthia can say that too. More energy. Oh yeah, I mean, right. I mean, everything happens to somebody differently, but yours is a good example, though. You know, and you're open about it, and that's fine, and that helps other people that want to know more about portals. Like, okay, someone experienced it. What happened? How many came through? How big it was? How long it lasted? You know, that those are all important factors that people don't get to experience. So, and that's good. I mean, I want you guys to express what you felt when you've experienced it. It helps others around you. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just it's a can be a hot topic, but it's also not being talked about much. And you know, and Cynthia too, if you're still on, I mentioned before when you guys are doing your lives on your investigations, we're always talking about, okay, we're gonna get this gadget out, we're gonna go and try and do this experiment, and go to this room and such, but it's not talked so much about, okay, let's pack up our gear, let's go for a walk, let's see if we can maybe find a portal in a sort of different area of the location. But that, you know, that's not really talked about much on the lives. It's gear, what experiment we're doing, what we're trying to associate ourselves with, type deal. Ooh, that's creepy. Two big shadow people walking in front of you. Wow. That's interesting. Maybe when the broadcast ends, and maybe copy and paste your photos, and then you can post them in chat. Okay, initially. Okay, so you do it beforehand, most likely, and that's good though. But I mean, like I said, it's not talked about enough during the investigation. Like halfway through, you do the initial walkthrough before you start your location. You find that maybe this could be a portal here, this could be a portal there, but and but when you go to this location, I'm saying like halfway through the investigation. Let's say you go live, you know, three times, right? On the second live you do, you walk and say, hey, let's just drop our gear. Let's go take a walk. See if we can find something that's different in a particular spot, maybe possibly a portal has opened up in this spot. You know, that's kind of what I was talking about with that, because I know every paranormal team should do a initial walkthrough instead of just getting right into it. Don't do any walkthroughs and just start the investigation right there right at the start. But with the initial walkthroughs, you yourself as an investigator gotta find where the potential problems could be at that location that could affect you more heavily before you investigate, because then that way you know this is a spot that I probably should not walk into and go somewhere else in the location. And I can see that as well, you know. But see, Cynthia Droys, she's a veteran in this stuff, so definitely paying attention to a lot of the stuff she has to say, because she's very knowledgeable in this stuff, and it can really help some of you to have questions. Definitely ask her questions if you need to. See, but so where are we at here for time? Oh, we're past our hour. Wow, that was a good conversation, guys. So with this talk about portals, if you would like to do another topic about portals, or we can extend more on it, we can. Oops. Turn my phone off. Sorry if you can hear my kid in the background. He's playing his games. I don't know how much you can hear him. Hopefully not a lot. You know me. I say words. Right. Like that's what I mean. You've done this a while, so if any of you have questions, feel free to ask her. Yeah, this turned out really well. I was really happy with hey Christy, how you doing? Yeah, like I said, this has been a fantastic conversation today. You guys had a lot of interesting thoughts and theories and how you feel about things, and this is why I like doing this. You guys and the viewer make this a lot more fun to do these things. Yep, absolutely. Doing good, doing good. Having a great conversation about portals today. Yeah, so if you guys don't know Cynthia Droys, she has a paranormal team called Raven Rose Paranormal. So if you have any questions that you are wondering about the paranormal, feel free to shoot her a message. She'll answer any questions you have. No dumb answers here, nothing like that. It's just straightforward, you know. An only dumb answer or question is if you don't ask it, right? So, I definitely encourage you to do that. I get my words mixed up sometimes. Sorry about that. Other than that, yeah, today was a great conversation. Absolutely. All right, Cynthia. Talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, so with the paranormal question of the day, so next week is going to be pretty hairy for me. So, being as the 4th of July is on Monday, there will be no paranormal question of the day. And then Tuesday night, I will be investigating the Waushara County Historical Museum. And with that, we'll be just me and my wife. We'll be doing it from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I'll be going live as much as I can. I'm going to try some new techniques, new tactics, and hopefully, pardon me. I'm gonna have a few people drop by in the live chat there, and we're gonna do like I'm gonna bring them on, and we're gonna do some EVP sessions. Okay, and so what I got here is I got this little speaker. Okay, this is a Bluetooth speaker that I just found around the house that nobody was using, and it works well with StreamYard. So when I'm on StreamYard, I'm gonna pull in Cynthia. She's gonna stop in, and we're gonna do an EVP session. I'm gonna have her. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give her, uh, the spotlight, and I'm gonna walk out of the room, and I'm gonna let her do the EVP session. Let her talk and see what she feels and the location and stuff like that, and what kind of answers she might be getting out of there. At the same time, I'll have my digital voice recorder going, and I'm gonna try that. I'm also gonna get my friend Nick Daly on at some point, and we're going to kind of do the same thing, but we also might try something else as well. So we're gonna try some of that stuff. I'm gonna try and do a solo investigation in the jail cell, and just sitting there with a digital voice recorder going. Maybe have a laser grid going at the same time. Maybe even fall asleep in the jail cell. See what happens. That's another thing I'm bringing up. Tomorrow, I got something coming in the mail. We're gonna try to do like a point of view type investigation. So basically, what it is I'm gonna have something hooked up to my hat, and I'm gonna have the camera basically in front of my face. So when I'm walking, you'll be able to see, not my face, but you'll get to see the location as I'm walking. So I'm going to try that tomorrow, walking around the cemetery, see how that goes. Hopefully that does not make anybody sick. So if it does, then I probably won't do that on Tuesday going forward, but it's something new. It's something to try. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing Tuesday night. And with that, after that, I'll be going on vacation for the rest of the week. So next week there won't be any paranormal question a day. So I'll give you guys a nice week break from this face right here, and we'll pick it back up the following week. And I believe on the 11th of July, the guest will be Kayla Miner. So that'll be fun. We'll have Taryn on and Kayla on, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about Gettysburg that night. And she's going to get back into paranormal investigating, so she'll talk about that. And whatever else we decide to cover on the 11th. So stay tuned for that episode. That'll be a lot of fun. See what kind of shenanigans we can get into that one. Other than that, thank you for joining me today on the Paranormal Question of the Day on Friday. And I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July. Don't drink too much. Eat a lot. And, just have some fun. Gotta do that, right? Gotta have some fun. And thank you, Paul, for joining us today. Like I said, Paula, Carmen, and Christy, Cynthia, Leslie, Lori, thank you all for joining us today. It was a lot of fun, great conversation. If I missed a name, I'm awfully sorry. I don't mean to. With that, you guys have been watching the Paranormal Brew Network and the BB3 TV Network. Also, if you get time to check us out on MGS Paranormal on the YouTube channel at MGS Paranormal, and give a like, a follow, and share. I greatly appreciate that. I'm also on TikTok, so I'm gonna try. Hopefully, if I get 1,000 followers on TikTok, that I'll start going live on there as well, because I guess it's a new platform, so tie it in with everything else, right? So, But other than that, I bid you guys adieu, and I will see you in about a week or two. I should say Tuesday, but after that, in about a week. So, good night, everybody. So long. Have a great 4th.